If this isn't the most difficult project, then it's definitely the most energy consuming one. Let me tell you about it. Hello, my name is Natalia Rumina, and I'm going to tell you everything about the magic of epoxy resin. So sit back, relax, and just listen. I had an old mirror with a frame made from a mix of construction foam, acrylic, putty, and PVA glue. And let me tell you, friends, if you want this mix to be impossible to remove, just go ahead and mix it up. I barely managed to clean it off, and even then, not completely. It turned out to be super difficult and it stuck like glue. In some place, I couldn't remove it at all, so small bits of this mix remained inside. It took me several hours to clean everything up. Now I'm moving on to the mold to the form because I want to create a mirror frame using epoxy resin with mushrooms, berries, and flowers. I talk about different type of mold of form dish on my Patreon, where I share many examples of making table, clock, panel. For the mirror, I choose a mold made of flexible glass. I bought it at a hardware store. It's 3 millimeter thick. Before gluing the glass, I create the mold, the formwork, and painted the base with white acrylic construction paint. Then I started the slow process of attaching the edges. Here's a tip for you. Think in advance about how tall your filling will be so that the edges isn't lower than the flower or mushrooms you place inside. I made mine 6 centimeters high just to be safe. I use a hot glue gun to attach the edges to the polyethylene both on the outside and inside. After that, I always go over the gluing areas with silicone sealant, rubbing it with my finger. Otherwise, the resin will find even the teeny gap and leak out completely. And now begins the most fun, relaxing, and creative part of the process. I pulled out all my dried fruits, flowers, mushrooms, and berries. And you must know that I had collected everything the whole summer. I had already planned which colors I wanted to include. And I highly recommend keep it simple. Choose three main colors and three shadows, which them you use. I went with red, green, and blue. And I also commissioned a clay artist to sculpt snails, beetles, cutter paints, and even a frog for my mirror. It's important to know where to stop. Too many details can overhelp the design. For this deep pouring resin project, I choose resin from Resin Pro, which almost 4 pours up to 7 centimeters thick. It's super clean and bubble-free resin, and I have promo code NATIRIUM to get 10% discount. For the first layer, I mixed the resin and tinted it with white pigment. Pigment also from company Resin Pro. This will serve as the base where I'll arrange all the elements before letting it cure. Otherwise, if we pour everything at once, the flowers will float to the surface. And soon, the second part of the process will begin: how to sand, polish, and varnish this little cutie. You can find even more useful tips on my learning platform, Patreon, or in my private Telegram channel, where I teach everything from scratch and beyond. Have a nice day. Bye.